Good afternoon. It's Saturday, April 24th, 2021. Today's the 2-year anniversary of a report I sent to the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. I'm going to make this a consolidated report on matters of concern. On May 1st, there will be an anniversary of a municipal bond that was issued in the city of Chicago for $850 million. My understanding is that this is part of a pattern of bond issues that were a part of strategically coordinated acts of human trafficking, specifically from the country of Honduras to the US Mexico border, as among other things, competitive bidding and speculation on the movements of the people once they got to the border regarding how they would be distributed throughout the United States of America, including in and through and for the use of cities that themselves had their own municipal obligations. The city of Chicago, in the early part of 2018, engaged a program of issuance of municipal identification cards to people that were undocumented immigrants. Unfortunately, this process is not as altruistic as they wish for you to consider it to be. I personally have been subjected to the municipal identification card issue and its attendant acts of human trafficking in connection with efforts to extort people to cooperate with other forms of illegal activity, up to and including acts of large scale money laundering and other kinds of asset laundering. Now, I understand that there is a legal and political distinction between acts of laundering and fraud and embezzlement, which is why considerations of sex trafficking and prostitution need to also be taken into account, as well as acts of illegal coinage and or considerations of unconstitutional credit issues. But those are very comprehensive in scope and need to be attended to, as I have attempted to and am in consideration of the matters at hand. There is a case that I had submitted in the Northern District of Texas. I'm going to be moving forward on that in another manner. But at this time, it's important to understand that in November of 2016, almost immediately after the 2016 presidential election, there was a notice, a public notice, provided by the nation of Honduras discussing how it was acknowledging and declaring its intent to issue $850 million in bonds for a hydroelectric facility within the nation of Honduras. And this was as part of an upgrade or update to that facility. Among the things that was necessary for consideration is an understanding that, at least under American law, and in consideration of what's identified as being procedure, a standard procedure around the world regarding maintenance of hydroelectric facilities, that periodically there is a process whereby one must dredge the bottom of a reservoir, including a reservoir connected to a hydroelectric facility, in order to address sediment accumulation. It's called legacy dredging. Now, I did not know about that in November of 2016. But what I did know is that the announcement for $850 million worth of bond issues in connection with that dam, after there had already been a formal request made to Congress in consideration of the murder of an activist who was protesting another hydroelectric facility within the nation of Honduras, presented a conflict of interest insofar as I was involved. I declined to participate at that time for those reasons, and I have experienced a form of retaliation ever since. What ended up happening after that was that there was a decision that within the course of a year and a half, that the process would be altered, and instead of one issue of bonds in the amount of $850 million, there was an issuance on $700 million and another issuance of $150 million later on. My major concern is at this time that there were public reports discussing how the alleged president, Joseph Biden, made a statement about how, despite whatever else had been decided by Congress, he was going to require the withholding of $150 million worth of aid to another country for reasons that at that time were not fully disclosed. I believe it's an act of extortion. I believe that in conjunction with outstanding hedging strategies that were at work during and immediately following the 2016 presidential election, there was an understanding that there would be some form of supplement to offset what was originally identified as being the optimal execution of certain options at the time that were not able to move forward, and that they intend to use the interest payments on the municipal bond issue in Chicago, along with others that come due at the same time, for other illegal activities, up to and including illegal activities attempting to aid and abet the undermining of national sovereign governments abroad, while also maintaining the seditious activity afoot here within the United States. These are serious concerns. They continue to be serious concerns. Lives are at stake. A lot of lives are at stake. Are you making the call? Because now would be a very, very good time to finally make the call. It's 2:24 p.m.